That's super loud. Hello. excuse my grogginess. Let's see how loud this music feels like it's cranking right now. Hey, what's up, Dave? Alright. Give me 1 sec. Greetings, and welcome to what is hopefully the final episode of building this dungeon, because I'm gonna need it to be ready on Monday. Full disclosure, I'm a little under the weather today, so not much. Converting an index card RPG to mothership. Greetings. Hey, what's up? My ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. What an excellent name. Random question. Is the music super loud? Because I feel like it's super loud. I'm going to turn it down. I'm going to turn it way, way down. Yeah. Hey, thanks. Appreciate it, Better with Bacon. Yeah, this may end up being a shorter stream. I don't know if I'm going to get things finished today or not. Like, literally 10 minutes ago, all the fatigue just kind of hit me all at once. I've been kind of fighting this thing off for longer than I wish I was. I thought I'd be kind of out of the woods by now, and it appears to not be so. So, I'm going to try to get through some stuff today. And, oh yeah, special little surprise. So, I started to doodle earlier today, and I was like thinking about the BBEG, the Lunalith. And, alright, here it is. Ready? Big reveal. I drew up a little piece of art here. Here it is. The Lunalith. A quadrupedal crab moth. This is the most work I've ever put into a piece of art. I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, an artist. Yeah, rest and fluids. Yeah. So right after this stream, I'm gonna rest. But I just wanted to show this off really quick at the beginning to say, you know, I said I was gonna do a 4K stream a while back to celebrate hitting 4K, where I make a ShadowDark monster. So you know what? Why not use the monster that we're, you know, prepping for at the end of this dungeon? So I think this is going to be our monster. I'll stat it up. I'll do a live stream maybe next week. And then I probably will slow down on the live streams a bit. I've been going hard on these, and I think I'm going to go down to just 1 or 2 a week, maybe like a Monday, Friday situation. But this is the Lunalith, the aboleth smashed together with a rust monster, in this case a glass monster. But yeah, that's our boy. Yeah, and I tried to trace him into my book here, and he looks way different in the book. But, yeah, I mean, more or less, there he is. So, I was having some fun with that. I don't doodle a whole lot these days, so that was a fun little treat for myself. Alright, but that made me excited about doing the rest of this dungeon, so let's dive in. Here we have our map. In fact, I'm going to swap this. I'm going to do map here, words here, so I can scribble. Bugman. Love a good Bugman. I love, the weirder the monsters, the better, in my opinion. The more the alien. I love, like, because I love my goblins, and I love having, like, creepy little factions of people who just are weird and eccentric and, like, people can interact with. But then I love, like, on the other side, like, slimes and aliens and, you know, things from the far realm. So, okay, I'm just going to use this sheet. I'm going to draw a big old line right here. Oh, that line did not line very well. And then I'm going to break into... Hey, what's up, Erudite DM? Honored guests. Alright, so I've done, or we've done all of this area, and then I did these on my own. And then we did... Actually, I don't remember. We did a bit more over here, I want to say. No, over here. And then that was it. We mostly worked on the magic items last time, the main 4 that are in this dungeon. But yeah, I'm going to focus in here because we're going to look at, no, I didn't even have it on the screen. Basically these 2 rooms today. I'm going to figure out, this is probably the dragon domain. And I've been calling this Goblin Town in my head. So I think this is going to be Goblin Town. And yeah, let's start off with Goblin Town. I think that'll be the most fun to knock out. So we start off with our obvious. North is the fog wall. East is a stream of lava, or a lava river. Never eat soggy waffles. South is, I'm gonna say barricades, because I drew like these little barricades here, like they were fending off the troll, because the troll from above on the island lives basically at the entrance of the cavern. So, all right, fog wall north, lava river east, barricades slash entrance. I'm going to say light in parentheses because there might be some light streaming in from the south. Or did I do that wrong? Never eat soggy. Man, my brain is really frying right now. You'll have to forgive me. And then west is just a wall. But we can make it interesting by adding a detail. And by the way, if you have something input you want me to read, put idea or Jorban in all caps, and I'll read it as I go along. Otherwise, I'm kind of moving fast today. Happens in Goblin Town, stays in Goblin Town. No, it doesn't, because goblins are terrible at keeping secrets. At least in my world. They want to blab. They're just excitable little creatures. Excited about everything. Okay, so let's take a look at goblins in our monster overhaul. And I think if I remember correctly, it's page 44. Because why wouldn't I memorize where goblins are? There's kobolds. 40. Yes. Goblin. There we go. Well, 40. Yeah, 44. Not be confused with 4D4. Hey, look. This was a session I ran. Maybe some of you were in it. Anchor. Arthur, Bacon, Drogo, and Buck. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. Alright, so first off, these goblins are, we already know, these are the brick blood goblins. They're red-skinned, old brick, fresh blood, or scabs. Their special ability is they are rubberized, immune to fall damage. I kind of rolled this up on my own when I made that section of the map that I'm calling Hingeholt. It's basically the forest over here. They're in Hingeholt. D20. What are these goblins doing? 15. Squabbling over 1d6 gold pieces in small change. You know, here's something. I am definitely an eccentric GM, and I have my weird intricacies. And one of the things that I do with goblins is they don't care about gold. And I don't know if I picked this up from somewhere. I probably did somewhere along the way. But in my mind, they care. They want trinkets. They want shiny things. They want baubles. Anything that has magic on it. Anything that's like, well, what's the tinkering, like tinkerish, artificer kind of stuff. Because in my mind, I have like a mix of like Magic the Gathering goblins, essentially, in my head. And they really love to just bash machines together and build weird, hateful things that just are awful. So I don't like this answer is what I'm getting at. I'm going to re-roll. It's a 15 again. Look at that. It's a 2. Okay. Funeral, followed by cannibalism. They're nothing if not resourceful. Eccentric me? No way. Yeah, I'm eccentric. I fully own that. Funeral is fun, but I almost want to combine it with something. Let's see what 7 is. Throwing rocks at something and listening to the noise. Alright, I'm just going to read, because I'm not liking the dice right now. And that's fine. You don't always have to... Sometimes it's good to push yourself and be inspired, but not when you're sick and you're trying to finish a dungeon. Making poisons. Pretending to be stupid humans for laughs. Fashioning weapons. Ooh, digging a tunnel is good. Where does it lead? Barely wide enough to crawl through. Okay, I think this will actually tie us to the other room where the dragon is. Maybe they're trying to, like... Maybe they think the dragon has, like, some treasure in there with it. And, they're trying to tunnel in a way where they don't wake the dragon. That's what I'm going to say. And one of their friends died, so maybe they're having a little mini funeral. And I'm going to mark this page. Where's my ribbon? Because I really love this book. Has an entire page of like special goblin elite weapons, goblin super weapons, their mounts, and their traps. And war engines, which I don't know if we're going to get into war engines, but maybe they have some traps around their camp, so that might be fun. So I'm going to take my nice ribbon here and mark it and come back after we write. Okay, so I did all that so I could write what was to the west, which we now, I'm going to say, I almost said funeral pyre, but I'm going to say, like, digging equipment, basically. Mining gear. Mining machine, maybe. Because these are little tinkerer goblins. Digging with spoons, wooden spoons. Idea, fighting over 1d6 brightly colored glass beads. I like that better than gold. I think I'm solidified my idea here. So we're gonna put a bubble. We're gonna say, and I'm gonna draw a little dotted line here from Goblin Town, just over the river. Deet, deet, deet. This is our secret entrance, basically. And maybe it forks off because they're goblins and they try to go behind where they think the dragon is. Because we're definitely putting a dragon in this dungeon. Because even though it's ShadowDark, you gotta have dungeons and dragons. Okay, so Brickbloods. Man, this music feels extra loud to me today. Does it feel loud to y'all? It's like blasting in my ears. I'm gonna turn it down even further. I'm like shouting over it. Okay. Brickbloods building machine. I'm gonna call it a stealth drill. I don't even know what that means yet. Stealth drill to tunnel into Dragon Horde. Fitwiz. Yep, that's the name. just right off the top of my head. Fitwiz's funeral. Crushed by troll. And that way they know the troll's that way. And this was our, what did we name that thing? It was like a weird pollen troll or something. So later on I'll remember to correct that. Pollen, because that's the one that lives up on the surface basically. Stealth drill. Oh no. I'm not gonna repeat that on stream. Alright, so yeah, that's what our goblins are doing. This is their little hut town. They're drilling. You know, I think the loot is pretty self-explanatory. I think that they have a lot of tinkering supplies and, like, you know, like raw ore, that kind of stuff. Mechanisms. Let's roll on this just for fun. 70 flat. Zoop. Room. Scales. Scissor lift. Screw scoop. You know, I had an idea the other day with Knave while I'm just thinking about this, of just rolling the tens and then like picking something in the tens, because I think that's a good way to be inspired without constricting yourself like too much. Sometimes I just do like the 3 right around it. Like if I rolled a 67, I would do like 66 and 68 as well. But having like 10 to pick from is not bad. Oh man, I gotta take care of some congestion real fast. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm just talking away. I was just saying sorry about that. I could feel the congestion just building and building, and I had to take care of it. Luckily, I got through my conversation with Luke Crane last night, which is going to be on the next Quantum Ogre Cast. I just chugged a bunch of Dayquil and hoped for the best, but anyway, yeah. So I think, yeah, we got our goblins here in Goblin Town. Loot's pretty self-explanatory. I'm just gonna even write loot, tinkering supplies, and mining gear. As well as, like, you know, this is a town, so general supplies. Oh. Okay. And I don't really think I know how to, at this point in my career, I know how to run a goblin town. Different clans of goblins is good. Maybe the blood bricks are feuding with another clan. I like that, actually. And maybe that's the thing, is it's like half of them are like, we need to steal the dragon sword, and the other half are like, you're an idiot, that's gonna get us all killed. Clearly this is a bad move. It's not worth the risk of the treasure involved. Dragon. But there we go. Then who are these other goblins? Red and yellow, gourds, egg yolk, and cat's eyes. Green, emaciated, corpulent, warty, like walking heaps of pebbles. Ooh. Bat-like, huge ears, crinkled noses, and patchy. You know, I really like this idea of these bulbous. They can inflate and gently float by frantic eye-popping inhalations. So they like suck up a bunch of air and become these like bloated. So I like warty, bloated. I'm gonna call these the toad somethings. Toad mantle, toadborn. We have blood brick and toad something. Alright, but I'm going to put another bullet for them. So the toad... I need a word. Float adjective. Toad floaters. What do you mean there's no adjectives for float? Yeah, there are. Toad hover. Toad sail. I like it. Alright. The Toad Sail tribe. Yeah. I'm gonna say they want nothing to do with the tunneling plan. Great suggestion. I can't spell right now. In fact, I usually opt for factions in a dungeon because it creates interesting interplay for the players. They get to make some decisions on who they want to support. Ooh, drift is good too. Toad tapped. Toad drift. Toad sail. Whatever rolls off the tongue easier. Toad waft. Toad float. I mean, toad sail works. Brick bloods and toad sails. It's easy to say. Okay. They want nothing to do with the tunneling plan. And I'm going to say wish to... They've got to have a motive too, right? So let's go to NPCs. Did I write in my book? There's a mark back there. 96. Share knowledge. Serve the needy. Slay monsters. I like share knowledge. Why not have some nice goblins, since, like somebody was saying, they are a potential PC race. Well, nothing to do with tunneling plan. I'm going to say, because we came up with this fun idea about them like being able to blow themselves up and float around, want to share secret knowledge of floating. So maybe one of the players, let me spell this first, learns how to like float for a couple rounds, like D4 rounds or something, by like I don't know, blowing up a toad and sucking all the air out of it or something weird. That sounds fun. It sounds really goblin-y and tinkery and ridiculous. Okay, so toad sails, and I'm gonna write bulbous boils. So I remember that they're like this, yeah, gross, kind of bulbousy, boily clan of goblins that can float. And I already wrote floating, so I know that they can float. Okay, that covers Goblin Town. Now let's knock out this as quick as we can. Let's go to the Dragon's Den. All right. Hey, what's up, Twin Steel? How you doing? Let's see if I can magically open my book to dragons again, like I did before. Oh, thanks. Appreciate you. The kiddo's asleep, so I'm on duty. All right. Random dragon encounters. I don't always roll these tables, because sometimes I like to use them more in the moment, and I don't want to like pour through all of them, but I'm just going to see what I get today. Honks and whistles, fluttering wings, aura of magic. 2d6 swift lizards, or in this case, goblins. Snap at one pseudo-dragon, trying to lead them towards the PCs. Okay, and then let's see... On omens, 6. Eye shine, muted conversations, 3d6 kobolds in a defensive knot, weapons ready. Or 7. Combined omen, hurricane of shadows, sliced air, swooping snares, glowing eyes. 2d6 wyverns circling overhead, 2d6 kobolds waiting to finish off and loot the wounded. So that really uses wyverns and pseudo-dragon. But I actually like this idea where they find you, outdoors, indoors. Draconic leitmotifs. Actually, let's roll that just for fun. 3. Shrieking sawed violins. Oh, that's weird. I saw chanting chorus too, which is a theme that we've had throughout this dungeon. Keeping it. Read doing charts. What am I getting a notification for? You're about to lose access to your photos. Oh, that's not good. But also not important right now. Alright, it's not an ancient dragon. But I do want it to be a tough enemy that they probably couldn't take down right now. And I'm actually thinking of Dragon. Because these are so weird. Emaciated, scaleless dragon, wrinkled, inflamed skin, bulging eyes. Wants power, hampered by many flaws. Morality, universal loathing. Intelligence, undisciplined genius. Read the first few pages of many books, abandon many pursuits. Each round the dragon may use one of the following: worry, phlegm breath, and desperate flop. Born with creeping rot, affected early in life, or forced by desperation and madness to hoard their own scales, a dragon exists in a state of perpetual fear. They never intentionally hoard valuable items, instead preferring broken, unwanted, or forgotten things. They are strangely proud of their pathetic nature. I had this really weird dragon I cooked up one time. Dragon names and features. Hey, what's up, Ryan? How you doing? Stealing your ideas again, doing a little live prep. But yeah, I really like this dragon. It's such a weird subversion of the expectations on a dragon, because you think of dragons as these like proud, regal creatures, and this dragon is like just kind of weird and gross and awful. Although that does create a potential, like, only a fight situation. So, one of the things about... Oh, I don't have the card with me today, but when I was doing all the principles at the beginning of building this dungeon, something to kill the players is one of the points. And so you want to fight that really they can't win yet, but is basically an optional fight. So this dragon might be stuck in this cave because of the cave collapsing from, if you were here last time, the pyromancer essentially using that plinth that caused this entire dungeon to start splitting and falling apart. So it could be stuck here with its horde of weird broken items and things. That's one option. I think the rest of these are like lesser dragons, pseudo-dragons, wyverns, young dragon. Could be a young dragon. That's still a pretty big threat for like early level ShadowDark characters. There's definitely more tables and things to roll on here that could be fun. Oh, a zombie dragon. That's fun. Stop drogging my heart around. Get out of here. What is that? Draco spawn. Yeah, I'm feeling the Dragon. I feel like this is a weird dungeon, but the only thing is I have to think about our Lunalith, the BBEG. So at first I had the thought that these two entities were pitted against each other for some reason. And that almost feels more like your classic dragon or a young dragon kind of a thing. But, you know, it could be a complex creature still. It's, even though it's like it says, where's the quote, undisciplined genius. So it's not that it's unwise or not smart. It's just kind of a, yeah, like almost like a bard version of a dragon, where it's like it reads a few pages of everything and dips its toes in a lot of different things, but doesn't commit to any one area of study, you know. Oh, where's my D10? There we go. Okay, so I'm sticking with Dragon. Dragon is weird, and I think it'll fulfill what we want ultimately in this dungeon. So I'm going to keep this page open, and I'm going to write... Actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's see what its lair is like. I'm going to open up Knave into Delves, and we're going to do some rolls. I'm going to look at room details and themes. 64. Or really any of the 60s. Nest. Painting. Pews, pillars, pipes. Ooh, pipes. That could be like more in our theme of like the music and the songs that have been going throughout this dungeon, which is fun. Pool, portcullis. And then let's see, 60s in room themes. Prophecy, rats, refugees, restless dead, revenge. I like pillars, pipes, and pews. It's giving me another like church kind of vibe. We already have the chapel of chimes. Restless dead. This could be like a church dedicated, or a chapel dedicated to either like a dragon god. Alright, let's see what's 60s in dungeon. Monastery. Mill, mine. So let's say monastery of something. An evil dragon god, basically. And we're going to roll that dragon name to get the name for it. 'Cause there's a table here. Why not? 5. Drool worm. Twitching barbels. Barbells? This might be another case where I just go with my gut and say Gurg Malcodrex. Actually, just Malcodrex is fine. Monastery and its alliteration, which everyone here knows I love. Malcodrex. I'm going to call him Malcodrex the Death Dragon. And we'll leave it at that. Monastery to Malcodrex the Death Dragon. So, we have our theme for the room. And I'm going to even say that it's a half-collapsed church for a dragon, so that's why it was like rather large at first. Gotta get back, keep it real. Alright, thanks for stopping by. Okay. Maybe Gurg is the name of this dragon. So, let's see. Where's my... I'm losing everything. This is the problem with juggling all physical books. Alright, so we'll put some pillars through here. And then there'll be like a kind of a path. I'll probably do this better for the real thing, but for now, this suits our purposes. And I'm gonna say Drogon. Is it Drogon or Drogon? Drogon feels more right because it's like a weird dragon. Gerd. Oh, I am familiar with Gerd, unfortunately. Dragon. Alright, so the Dragon, and we'll call him, or her. Let's see. Odd. Actually, you know what? I think everybody in here of import has been a male so far, so this will be a lady Dragon. So let's just say Dragon, and we'll name her Prunberta. No, that's stupid. I hate those names that, like, the second you write it down, you're like, yeah, all of my players are just gonna full stop and go Prunberta. That's the dragon's name? Okay. I'm gonna go with like a classic sort of dragon name. Zereldra. I don't know. Well, that's fine for now. She is trapped after the collapse. With her horde of and what does she have a horde of? Orbina. It's a good one too. I'm not sold on that name. I just wrote something to write something. Let's go to equipment. Roll a couple dice. 80s, 82 specifically. Sketchbooks. Sometimes they're the last smoke bombs, sledgehammers. I mean, these are really for like players, but I'm trying to get inspired. Oh, treasure. Here we go. Spells. Spears, spices. Spells and spices. Although this is so this is a part where I want to think about like maybe linking it to the Lunalith. Maybe this Drogon with its untempered genius actually sealed the Lunalith away long ago, and this whole place was its lair for a time, or her lair rather. So maybe there are some spells and they all have to do with like sealing magic, or like oh, I can't think of the school of magic that is, but like basically binding magic and stuff. So I'm gonna write crystal binding, because, or musical binding, because we have the music theme that's been going throughout. Hey, Lunalith. Hey, what's going on, Runehammer? I'll show you. I sketched up the Lunalith today. This is our monster. for the dungeon right here. Why am I doing it down here when I can do it here? This is our Lunalith. We're basically combining a aboleth with, like, basically a rust monster, but in the case of this dungeon, it's a glass monster. So it is this weird moth crab with, like, high intelligence that can just shatter glass things. Alright, later Merlotron, thanks for stopping by. But yeah, so to go back, the Drogon here is in direct opposition to this Lunalith. So I'm thinking this thing has a horde of musical spellbinding magic. Whatever it looks like, maybe that's a bunch of broken instruments, which will make any bards that bug do. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I took some different motifs and just crammed them together, and I was like, you know what? This is good enough. This will work. Alright, so binding magic. So, alright, Drogon, she's trapped from the collapse over here with her horde of binding magical spells, and I'm going to put via instruments. Because we know that the Drogon is quite proud of its horde of valuable broken items, unwanted and forgotten things. So, I think that makes for a cool counterbalance to this kind of theme we have going on here with, like, a lot of music throughout the dungeon. So I think that ties together nicely, and that makes sense of the chimes in the cathedral over here. So there's this spell-binding musical magic that's going on throughout the place. And that also tells us, like, what the horde is, what her reason is for being here, and concisely wraps all that up in, like, one sentence, which is great. Alright, so other than that, what do we have going on in this room? I'm going to break out Knave again. We're going to look at some delves and encounters. Activities. Roll a D100 here to get inspired. 51. Harvesting? Hauling? Healing? Maybe there's some healing going on here. Maybe the Drogon is wounded from a great, the great cataclysm that split the dungeon. So it's trying to find. Actually, let's open one more thing here because I want to see. I feel like this room needs another detail. It's kind of just like blank in my mind right now, and I want one more thing to solidify what it is. So let's go back to delves. Other than it being kind of like a broken church. Lanterns, torches. And I'm going to stick with 51. So we have under delve shifts, incense. That makes sense. Junk room, that also perfectly fits here. A map. That might be cool if there's like a map of the rest of the dungeon. Alright, so I'm going to write some details. Incense burning. Junk litters. It's a monastery, right? Not a church. I gotta get that right. And then, what else do we have? Oh, yeah, the map. Mouths, music. Why wouldn't there be music? Litters the monastery. I'm going to say, like, out of tune. What's an easier way to say out of tune? Dissonant? Dissonant music. Plays from the altar. And then, Yeah, the map. And I'll just say, this is maybe something they have to parlay with the Drogan in order to discover. Maybe the Drogan has a map of this place. I already hate this name. And in fact, if Hankerin, if you're still in the room, I need a good dragon name for a lady dragon who is obsessed with binding music. Because you have some of the best dragon names I've ever seen. Alright, I'm going to say she has a map to the dungeon. And wants to keep... Did we name this Lunalith? What is this thing called? I think I did name it. I'm going to have to go through and clean up these notes, man. They're all over the place. But this is a rough draft process, so is to be expected. I think we gave her a name, and I don't know where it is right now, but I'll figure it out later. Wants to keep Lunalith bound. And really, I think that's all we need for this room. We know that the goblins are trying to tunnel their way towards the treasure. Maybe they're after the binding magic for a reason. What about Hamira after Harmony? That's better than what I wrote. I wrote Zereldra, which sounds like the off-brand version of Zelda or something. Alright, I'm going to write that. Hamira. That's the Drogan. Or Dragon. Alright, well, I think that does it for the main two rooms here that we were sketching out the very end of. The only thing left is this room at the very top where the Lunalith is bound. And I think I kind of already have that in my head, but I'm just going to go ahead and write the Ziggurat, because I think this is... Yeah, basically this is where this thing is being held. I couldn't spell ziggurat, so that's why I'm on my phone. And then after that, all we really need is some random encounters. Hamira the Lyrical. Yeah, there's a nice lyrical sound to the name. I like it. The Ziggurat. And I'm going to say this thing... This is like a... I drew this a while back, so... I think I meant for this to be like these floating stones that like separate and bob around and stuff, and the players have to do this little like platforming, you know, to get into the Ziggurat proper. So I'm going to say... Behind the stone doors. Is a glass ziggurat. Or crystal, rather, because we did name this thing the Crystal Tyrant. Across a yawning pit. So basically they're gonna, this is the very last room if they even make it here. They're gonna open this And I'm going to say glass platforms. Well, I'm going to keep with the crystal theme. Don't need to switch it up. Float over the pit. And I'm going to say moving to the rhythm of the song. I did not spell that right, but that's alright. That's what we have the book for later. Alright, moving to the rhythm of the song. And really, this is just Lunalith and her horde. This room does not need to be complex at all. Yeah. And I'm just going to say that... Do we need to roll anything else on this? I think she's sleeping in a beam of moonlight. Because that sounds epic. Let's say she's large. I feel like the music got appropriate for this. Don't wake the Lunalith. Alright. So we have our ziggurat. We have our final room. And honestly, I'm tired. I've been sick if you're just tuning in. And my congestion, everything's getting to me. And I'm ready for a long nap. And I think this is enough. I can clean up these details, which that's the point of all this. We're writing it all out right now, and I'll come back and I'll clean it up and I'll put it all nice and bullet pointed in my little book that I take everywhere with me. And that'll be most of the dungeon right there. So yeah, if you guys are just tuning in to this final form of this dungeon, go check out the other videos. I've been doing live streams where I put this thing together with the help of some inspiration of the chat. And it's been a ton of fun. And I will definitely... I'm going to do a stream. I posted a while back, you know, trying to celebrate some milestones. I hit 4K subs. So I want to do one where I build a monster. And I think we have our Lunalith, and we're going to stat that out live. Just to put it back up here one more time. There she is. There's our nice duo here. The Dragon and the Lunalith at odds with each other within this decrepit, sunken temple. And then I'll have to name the dungeon. So that'll be a fun thing to do live next time. My brain juices are not flowing as well today because I'm down with the sickness. But appreciate you guys sticking with me. Thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. And, you know, do all the YouTube stuff. If I don't say that, no one will do it, right? So, thank you guys. Appreciate you. Hopefully this was fun. If so, I'll try to keep doing these maybe like once a week rather than like I did like 3 or 4 in 1 week, which is nuts and stupid. And yeah, that's just way too much. So maybe I'll make this a Mondays kind of thing, or Monday might be hard, so maybe a Wednesdays. But all right, I'm rambling. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you all. Hopefully this is something I can publish and I'll put out somewhere so that you guys can use it in the future if you want to. Yeah, that's it. Thanks for sticking around. We'll see you next time.